Hey, it's Louise Hvala and you're watching Gatehouse Insights. Today I'm joined by Anna Svenson, who is the Director and Principal Clerk at Svenson Barristers. It's such a pleasure having you on the show today, Anna.
Thanks, Louise. Happy to be here.
So I wanted to begin with your journey because I know so many people in our audience are curious to know
where I came from and how I got here. Well, I studied law at Monash and really loved all of that. Then following my degree, one of my favourite subjects was actually my transport accident subject, and I won the academic prize. So initially I thought, oh, this is perfect, I'll go and work for TAC because if I'm good at that, that's where I belong. So I went and interviewed there and they didn't accept me. And I was so downtrodden and heartbroken about it. So I called them and said, look, what went wrong? I really thought this was the place for me. And they said, no, Anna, you're too plaintiff focused. So I took that on board and went and worked with Newiki Carbone for my traineeship. And I just loved it there, it was wonderful. Spent 5 years with Newikis until we became part of the Slater and Gordon group. So then I moved to the Latrobe Street building. That was wonderful too, and I had a great team there. But I suppose the moment I decided I was ready for something else was when I sort of realised that I didn't aspire for anyone else's role ahead of me, and met with John actually from your company and spoke to him and said, look, what's around, what should I do? We spoke about all these different jobs that I could have considered, and then right at the end I said, oh look, my other big dream is actually to own a barrister's list. And we both laughed and said, oh that's a big one, but always good to dream. And then about 6 months later, the role to take over Gordon and Jackson did come up, and I was quite nervous, but I thought I had to apply, and the rest is history, I suppose now.
Congratulations. It's so amazing that you put it out to the world that you wanted to own a list, and it's actually become a reality, so congratulations. Tell me why did you decide to pursue a legal career?
Law is something that I'd always wanted to do. I actually don't think there was a defining moment that sort of set me on that journey. I was the first lawyer from our family, and but I think my interest in humanities through my VC subjects probably led me towards that path. And once I got into law, I did like it at the start, but it's towards the end that you really grow a love for it, I think. And I was lucky enough to go to the Prato program in Italy, and that's where I really became passionate about the law. And my final few years of my degree, they were my favourites, certainly. So I think PI law, as I was discussing before, really evolved from what I was good at and what I really enjoyed. But for me, going to law, I knew I wanted to work with people. So that narrowed it down to crime, family or personal injury. And personal injury is really where I found myself a really nice fit. So yeah, I really loved that time, and personal injury work was really rewarding. Yeah.
Now you mentioned that you wanted to run the barristers list for quite some time. Was there a particular moment that you knew you wanted to do this?
Well, I did work experience whilst I was studying law with a number of barristers on another list, and being immersed in that world really gave me a taste of what it would be like. And I really admired the role of the barristers' clerks and the opportunities they had to engage with counsel, but also celebrate and engage your interest in marketing and brand development with the law, because they're both things that I was really passionate about. And even at Newikis, I did a lot of our brand development and philanthropic work. So I thought it would be something I'd be really good at, but also something I really wanted to do. So I'd been exploring that world and watching it for a long time, but opportunities to own lists really come up so rarely. So I felt really lucky when this one did.
And you took it and grabbed it?
I took it and grabbed it and ran with it.
Well done.
Yeah. But I think for a long time I've been looking at business opportunities, with my skill set as a lawyer and having a background in visual culture and marketing and things like that from my arts degree, and my husband Gus's skill set as an accountant. A barrister's list was probably the perfect place where our skill sets combined. So he's not actively involved in the business, but certainly helped me along the way with getting to where we are now. And for many years we've been talking about that being the perfect opportunity, and when one came up it was certainly something we had to pursue.
Can you tell me about the process of securing the list?
It was a long one. It took nearly 6 months from my initial application right through to the final moment. It was, from memory, 5 interviews, an aptitude test, 2 panel presentations with groups of barristers, 9 casual meet and greets with barristers, and that felt like sort of the political campaign because it was, the soft sell to meet lots of people. And then ultimately I had to present to the whole list, so there's probably over 100 there from our list, and I presented on my feet, talking to them about all the reasons why I thought I was the right fit for the role, and then they had to vote to endorse me as the new clerk. Now that was particularly daunting because barristers are trained advocates to stand on their feet and present to groups of people, and to do that in front of all of them to win their support was incredibly challenging, but I was really proud of myself actually for getting through that. And the scary part was they voted in front of me, so I thought I'd sort of neatly disappear, but no, it was all those in favour of Anna becoming our new clerk, raise your hand. And then after all of that, you're still purchasing a business, so it's a business transaction with a lot of extra steps along the way.
6 months is such a long time.
It is.
How did you keep your motivation levels up during that?
It was a tough 6 months. It was a really tough 6 months, and I suppose all along the way, because you're in this bind of a stressful moment where you're analysing and deciding if it's the right decision the whole way as well, it was tough. But I think I just had to remind myself that this was such an incredible opportunity, and opportunities like this just so rarely come up, so that really kept me grounded and kept me going through it all. I think part of the really tough aspect to it was that I couldn't tell my employers until a certain point, until I knew things were really heading in the right direction, so that was really tough. It did feel at times like I had 2 jobs going at the same time, but my partner Gus, he was incredibly supportive through all of that, and he actually had to interview for components of the recruitment process as well, so it was a team effort, and I was very pleased once it was all finalised.
Did you ever think it was actually going to happen?
Yeah, I had great faith that it would actually. I think it came at the right time when I was looking for something new, and it just felt right. It did, and I had this great strength in believing that it would be okay. So,
when you received the phone call that you secured the list, did you go out and celebrate? And did you even think it actually happened?
I was already out. I was at a Greek restaurant with my sister and her boyfriend and my husband Gus, and I saw the recruiter's phone number, and even though it was an after-hours call, I thought, no, I need to get this one, and stepped out onto the street, took a deep breath and answered the call, and I was delighted to find out that we were successful, so yeah.
Tell me about the first day at the list.
Oh, the first day, there were lots of flowers. I had all these flowers delivered, which was so beautiful, from kind family and friends who were supporting me through that whole journey. And then I loved it, all the barristers came through and said hello, so they all knew it was my first day, so I had lots of visitors. And then right away I started my catch-ups with barristers, so part of my rollout for the first few months is that I've sat down with all of them, or nearly all of them, I haven't got them all yet, to give them an hour of my time to hear about what's been working well and what they'd like me to look at for the future and learn about their practices. So I started that right from day dot. I'd met our office staff a few times through the process, so luckily I didn't have to learn all their names on day one, because we've got 10 in the office, so it was lovely. And then had a lunch, and then we're on to day 2 and beyond. So,
have you remembered everyone's name now?
I have, even surname spelling, so I've done well.
You have done very well. I wanted to shift us into the realities of becoming a barrister and what, if someone is thinking of becoming a barrister, what should they expect or not expect?
Well, I think if you want to become a barrister, the biggest hurdle is the exam, and that takes an incredible amount of study. So by the time I meet potential readers who are coming through, I'm already telling them they're brilliant because they've passed what is known to be an incredibly difficult challenge. I think the biggest change when you come to the bar is that you've left the comfort of being a PAYG employee and the realities of having to manage your own tax and business activity statements and all of that is, that's the real world of the bar. But as a clerk, a big component of my role is assisting with all of those things. I think coming to the bar requires you to be a really good people person because your networks is really where a lot of your work comes from. Again, we do a lot to assist with people connecting to new solicitors and new marketplaces, but the personal relationships you make beyond the initial brief is really where your success comes from in coming to the bar. So I think if people do want to become a barrister, building their networks even before they come is really important, and tools like LinkedIn are incredible resources, and I really encourage people to start building those networks so that by the time you come to the bar you've already got a group of people you can call upon for support. So
I wanted to talk a little bit more about work-life balance. How do you manage work-life balance? Because I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
How do you manage personally?
I think if you've got a personal life you're proud of and a work life you're proud of, you're doing well. I think at times the balance is always different. I know for me, as I was talking about earlier, the recruitment process for me, that was completely out the window. You can ask my gym membership, it wasn't particularly consistent. But then once you settle into a role like I have now, that's where you can really carve out those spaces for different things. A few tips that I have for that is that I run 2 phones so that I've got a personal mobile and a work phone. And I think that's really important so that, if I want to go out for a few hours or go for a run or things like that, I don't have to take work with me. And you do need to make commitment to time that's yours. And for me, I really enjoy getting out of Melbourne and going to the country on weekends. So we run a farm in South Gippsland and I love going down there for a recharge. That's sort of my escape point. And then my family's in northeast Victoria, so I see them as well. And I think taking that time to get out of Melbourne and see the people you love is really important. So that's how I think I balance it. But it's always a challenge. It is always a challenge, especially when you own your own business. But the difference is now that every hour I put into my work is now for something I'm building and something I'm really proud of. So yeah, I'll keep working on that, but I think I'm doing okay.
I was going to ask, do you find that there's more integration with your work and personal life now that you run your own business?
I think definitely, because my identity of who I am is so closely linked to the business that I run, so probably even more so than ever before. But that said, I've got a lot of friends who know me as just Anna, and I'm happy to keep, all of those things that way as well.
Can we also look at what you do to help your barristers achieve that balance between work and life if they want it?
That's hard. That is challenging because the bar is a place where it goes in ebbs and flows with work. Sometimes it can be all on deck, really busy, and other times it's really quiet. So I think the importance for your barristers is actually keeping their routine throughout all of those peaks and troughs in work. Because if you can keep your routine, you'll keep sane during the really hard times. I think there's really good initiatives we do to try and keep people having a social life at the bar, not just a work life. Because when you're at the bar, you don't have a set of colleagues in the same way that you do in a workplace. So we have Friday night drinks, which gives people a sense of community, so they can come down and not talk about work and socialise with our group. We're also initiating social catch-up sessions for our barristers on our list for that same reason. I can encourage people as strongly as I can to take breaks and things like that, but I think the biggest tip that I got from one of our barristers actually was you have to own the work, you can't let the work own you. So you have to make a decision when you're going to go on a holiday, when you're going to take a break and commit to it, because otherwise there's always work to do. You just have to set your own boundaries.
And before we wrap up, what are your future dreams and plans with the list?
Oh, there's lots of good things happening for the list. So the first big one is our name change. So we are Gordon & Jackson at the moment, but we're becoming Svenson Barristers, and I'm really excited about that. Our barristers list was actually established in 1963 as List S because it was run at that time by Ken Spur. So with Svenson being my surname, List S has done full circle, so we're going to be celebrating the List S concept again in 2017. So the rebrand will involve all new logos and a new website and all of that. We've got a new software system coming as well, which will be an enormous task to roll that out, but I think we really need to because the technology is there and I'd like to embrace it. There's some fun things happening too, things like our Instagram's going live shortly, and some other social media platforms. So I'm excited to see all of these things roll out. It's going to be really good.
I'm excited to see it too, so I can't wait.
Thank you.
Anna, thank you for being here with me today, and congratulations once again on securing the list.
Thank you, Louise. Thanks.
Now, Anna and I would love to hear from you. What is the biggest insight you're taking away from today's conversation? Comment and share below and let us know. If you like this episode, please subscribe to our channels and share this video with your friends. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Gatehouse Insights.